Hi, my name is Micha, and I want to show you a different way to develop and run services or microservices using latest .NET frameworks with a tool called Nomirun. Nomirun comes with a CLI and a generic host application that hosts and runs Nomirun modules. Modules are standard NuGet packages we're all familiar with and work with every day. Let's start by installing CLI and explore how we can build and run services with Nomirun. So I can run the installer and install the CLI, and we will wait. I'll just uncheck this. I don't want to run this at this point, but I can go to my PowerShell and I can type Nomi, and that will show us a help page where we can see different commands that are supported with Nomirun CLI. We can see module new, module run, module build, debug. We can also do or use AI Assistant to generate Swagger and some summary files. We can also generate configuration for different outputs like environment variables for Docker, Kubernetes secret scripts, or PowerShell scripts to inject environment variables into our machines and things like that. So there are many things we can do. But let's start first with Nomirun module new. I have pre-constructed some commands, and we will create account service module for .NET 9, and this is the path. So if I hit enter, the module will be generated and IDE will be opened up. In my case, it's JetBrains Writer. And here you can see we have this simple template of a module, and here's a controller and an action. We also have a startup for bootstrapping things, and we have a configuration file as well. Now I can build a module and I can run the module. The module will run in our generic host, Nomirun host, which you can see here, and it will expose the module through the host, right? So if I click here on the host name and go to the Swagger, we can see that Swagger is already loaded in generic host. So generic host comes with different tools like Swagger docs, like metrics endpoint. It comes also with health check endpoints, right? So the host is ready to go into your cluster or to some other infrastructure environment you want to use. Okay, so if you focus on the account service section here, this is our module and this is our endpoint. I can execute it. I can also go and set a breakpoint here, and I can debug it like I would normally do, right? So this is supported here. The next thing I want to show you is to use our AI capability to generate Swagger documentation and summary file. So I will run this pre-built command again. So generate Swagger and path to our CS_proc file. So let's see what that will do. Right. So if I go back to my code, I see this Swagger attribute was added, some stuff was generated, and we also have a README file which kind of gives us this summary of the module. Lists all the controls and all the actions. So this is just a taste of what we are trying to do here, but it helps us to be more standardized and productive. Now let's say we finished with the module. Now we can build it. By building it, I mean create a NuGet package, which then we push to our NuGet feed or NuGet repository. So this is a command with which I can build a module. So specify name, version I want to build, so it's version 1, then our CS_proc file. At the end, we specify a NuGet server. I will just change this to a different name and run the build. Now the build, like I said, It's building the NuGet package, it's pushing the NuGet package, and that's basically it. Now we can try and run this package with our generic host. To do that, we use module run command, again specifying a name, version, and .NET framework, and we just hit enter. This will run in standalone mode, and it will run a Nomirun standalone um, host, right? So if you go up, you see everything is running. We got our module here, we got our environment variables, whatever is loaded, and I can open this up in our browser. So go to Swagger, and you see the same experience is here as well. I can call my endpoint, and this, in my standalone generic host. Now, okay, let's stop this. And obviously, what the goal here is, we want to run our module in a container, because eventually we want to deploy this and have users using our app, or systems integrating with our app. So what we need to do first, this is like the helper command here, which will help us and generate this configuration that we can use or inject. So this .env file for Docker we can inject into the container, so we have some sort of a configuration there. Now you can see I need to specify count service, and I need to specify version. I'll hit enter, and that is generated. Now what I can do is just use the same commands as before, module run, but with this type container at the end, and that means our CLI will pull down the latest Nomirun host Docker image, and it will run it with our configuration. Now if I do docker ps, you can see it's running. I can also check the logs. I'll just grab the ID here, and you can see it's running. If I now go to my browser, the same experience on the same port, this is our endpoint. And I can do, again, checking the logs, you can see that those requests from the Swagger UI were just generated. So that's just a taste of what Nomirun is, and I hope you find this useful, and thank you for your time, and let me know what you think.